Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Talk. Our guest for today is Aeson Dela Cruz. O, di ba? Familiar name because this is his second time back. And the only thing that's different is that he finally has earned his PhD. He's now Dr. Aeson. And ang dami niyang pinagdaanan. And I'm really, really excited to talk to him again so that he could share his insights in this journey na makuha niya ito. And actually, my recent development, he attended the AOM. But later, I will ask questions about it so that he could also share what that experience has given him. So let's all welcome Aeson. Hi, Aeson! Kumusta ka?
Hello, hello. I'm good naman. I'm just adjusting in terms of I've been moving time zones, but yeah, okay naman ako adjusting, transitioning from grad school to the workforce and a lot of things on the side.
Yeah. Pero last year, when we talked, I remember that you were still a research assistant sa Macquarie while you're completing your PhD.
Mm.
Ano na ba yung developments ngayon? Like,
Well,
kasi doktor ka
ngayon,
na eh. Mm-mm.
well, actually, ngayon, paano ba? I think, to be honest, not much has changed in terms of, kasi parang sa akin, it's still the same. You're still doing the same routine. You're still working on the same things. Ang naiba lang is, I don't have a deadline to beat in terms of my thesis because
Mm.
it's done. And of course, it's fulfilling na natapos mo na. Pero alam mo yun, after a day or two, reality kicks in that okay, there's something more beyond that. And ngayon I'm teaching din. So I've been since February I've been tutoring some units in Macquarie while doing a research assistantship. And then I'm also working on some research projects with my supervisors because yun nga, if you want to have an academic career in Australia and in other countries, you need to have a pipeline of research papers. Your thesis, your dissertation is not enough. So you have to keep it going. So yeah, I'm working on these, and while I'm sorting out my career, I'm looking for jobs as well, either for a postdoc or a lecturer position, ganyan. So alam mo yun, it's like it's topsy-turvy. It's everything is happening all at the same time.
My gosh, you're so submerged in the academe. And it sounds so different. Kasi, of course, I'm familiar with LaSalle. Actually, si Aeson, he started his PhD at LaSalle and then he got a scholarship in Macquarie. So, sobrang different ng experience. But I would believe because, God is really in control, that it's really serendipitous pa rin. That your experience in LaSalle added up to your experience in Macquarie, which, you know, added up to what it is that you're doing right now, which is you're teaching at the same time there's a pipeline of projects that's hindi natapos sa thesis or sa dissertation
Yes,
ang
talaga.
pagsusulat,
Hindi siya
continuous
pwedeng matapos.
writing.
Yep.
Yeah. Oo nga. How long did you write for your dissertation? If I remember correctly, it has been quite a while.
Sa akin kasi, well, our setup, I think I shared this with you before.
Mm-mm.
Sa Australia, it's a research degree in a sense that you don't attend classes and all. So sa akin, I started March 2019 and then I was fortunate to finish it on time as well. March 2022 when I submitted my
Ah,
thesis. So I did it for 3 years.
oh my gosh. Okay.
And I
Parang
didn't
nagulat
hindi ko
ako.
napansin hindi ko napansin na the thing is, I didn't know that when I enlisted Macquarie, it was my birthday. So my submission date was my birthday this year. Kaya I was motivated to finish on time because I wanted to parang it's a gift from it's my gift to myself that I'll submit my thesis on my birthday, which I was able to do naman.
Oo. So, pero because of pandemic, 'di ba? Di ko sure kung kailan ang March talaga, but you were already awarded, 'di ba? Parang
Yes.
Mm. Paano yung process na yun?
Para yung process, so March is I submitted my thesis. Sa amin kasi
Mm.
wala kang viva or wala kang oral defense. Wherein you
Oh.
don't have to face the panel, but you have three examiners who
Mhm.
will be given 8 or 9 weeks to review the thesis. So meron siyang pros and cons. In a way, at first I was happy because I don't have to defend it. But
Mhm.
I was also scared because at least in a defense, if you did not write something well or if you wrote it poorly and you're able to explain it, okay,
Mhm.
put it in the paper. But if you're not there and they'll just have to read it, it means that the manuscript had to withstand uh it without you being there na i-explain mo.
Mm.
And tatlo yung examiners, 'di ba? So parang sabi ko, though of course my supervisor nominated the examiners, you
Mhm.
still don't know how the process would go. So sa
Yeah.
akin, yun, nag-submit ako ng March and then it took me around, nagkaroon kami ng delay sa approval by 1 or 2 weeks kasi the university will still approve the examiners to ensure na walang conflict of interest, that they have
Mhm.
expertise with the area that you're looking at. And sa amin parang kung tatlo yung examiner, one should be international, hindi based sa Australia, and two can be from here sa Australia. And basta maraming criteria and also. And so March ako nag-submit. Supervisor got the notice na bumalik na yung report around May. So less than two
Oh.
months, in 2 months
Mhm.
time, bumalik na yung report. Tapos my supervisor has to respond pa sa report. Kasi ang mangyayari is the supervisor would moderate the comments. If the examiners will ask you to revise some things, we can check ano yung mga comments na legit, because dito parang
Mm.
ang treatment is you are the expert you know what you're doing. Kayo ng
Mm.
supervisor mo. You worked with it for 3 years essentially. So if for example pinapa-revise ka unreasonable, you can say no to that because
Mm.
we've done this and that and all. So sasagot pa siya. So sa akin, I was very fortunate because my examiners did not ask me to do corrections. So the recommendation is award the degree, straight pass. Award the degree
Oh, wow.
immediately. So, nung May na yon, wala. So sabi niya, wala naman akong i-respond kung hindi
Oo. Yeah.
I agree with the comments.
Celebrate.
Wala akong gagawin because yeah, the comments were they saw the contributions of the thesis, that the
Mhm.
dissertation. So wala nang gagawin. He responded uh all. Tapos after nun, hintay ko na lang yung formal completion letter, which means I'm done, which
Mhm.
I received last July, na talagang tapos na. I'm no longer a student, wala na akong access sa study rooms and all because wala, tapos na.
Mm.
And recently then, I got a letter na my examiners indicated in the examination report that the thesis, they think that it belongs to the top 5% of the thesis that they've examined in their career. So parang may commendation.
Mm.
So I'm fortunate or I'm lucky, I guess, to also receive parang vice chancellor's commendation for research excellence eme, ganyan, dahil
Oo.
accreditation. So sabi ko, okay, ano naman siya, parang it's a fitting way to cap off things. So yun,
Yeah,
tapos na,
you've
diba? It
you've
has been
you've worked on it for almost 3 years.
3 years, and then I guess sa akin ang pinakamahirap while you're waiting for the examination results, sobrang anxiety-inducing siya because they can make they can ask you to make minor corrections, they can ask you to make major corrections, and if these are major corrections, you have to re-enroll for 1 year. Para ako,
Oh
ano,
my.
mag-re-enroll. And, di ba, I mean, wala naman ako sa Pilipinas. If nasa Pilipinas ako, it's not gonna be an issue. But
Mhm.
I'm in a different country, so uh, maraming considerations.
Yes. Oh, I see. Pero you use the same topic ba or paper when you submitted or when you presented sa AOM? Oh, could you
Yes, one
share
of the
what could
papers.
you could you
Sige,
also share
sige.
what AOM is? Because I don't think everyone
All
knows what it
right.
is.
Well, at first, hindi ko din alam yung AOM because I'm from a different discipline. I'm from accounting. So, my supervisor is talagang a management academic. And he'd tell
Mm-hmm.
me, it's the Academy of Management. And he'd always tell us na it's really the biggest, the most prestigious conference in management. And it's like it's the AOM. So every time he tell stories how big it is of an event, it's so overwhelming. And
Mhm.
it's like paano ba? When you submit papers, mataas din yung rejection rate. Like in my division in OB, it's around 50% or 60% rejection rate. So parang sabi lang niya sa akin, let's submit one of your papers
Mhm.
to AOM. So let's just give it a try.
Yeah.
Because this paper parang it has been rejected in an auditing journal. So
Mhm.
parang at that time na-realize namin maybe we are targeting the wrong audience. So sabi niya to test
Mm.
fit in if we fit in management, submit it with OB. So medyo tinweak ko yung writing, yung
Yeah.
contribution sa literature because I have to center it because the paper is about psychological contracts, ideologies, meaning of
Mhm.
work,
Mhm.
its outcome. So, tinweak ko para mag-fit. And then, nagsabit kami. And
Yeah.
then, sabi lang niya, let's see. You don't know what's gonna happen. And then ako, to be honest, I was not too hopeful because it's not my discipline. And
Mhm.
I know management is a lot tougher than accounting. It's a very mature field. It's like when you do papers in management, 2 or 3 studies, tatlong sample, apat na sample, and it's just one paper. So parang, okay, I don't know. But yun, nag-submit kami. And then, aside from that, I'm also working with him on another paper. Pero this one is on entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
entrepreneurial couple. So sinubmit din namin yun. So I submitted 2 papers. 2 papers I'm a part of, sinubmit namin. Yung isa, I'm
Oo.
the lead author because it's from my dissertation. Yung isa, uh, I'm working on it as a co-author. And
Mhm.
then, kailan ba? January kami nag-submit. March, lumabas yung outcome, accepted pareho. And I was like,
Wow.
wow. I was not expecting it. And pati siya sobrang happy din niya because yun nga, OB has, organizational behavior has a higher rejection rate and it's the biggest division in
Mm.
AOM. Okay,
Oo. Oo,
accept.
you're now in ano, 'di ba, in the US because you just
Yes, yes. So
attended the
parang
AOM.
okay, sige, I might consider going because it's an experience. It's a good thing na hindi ko to
Yes.
experience ng pandemic because conferences are virtual and kasi nung pandemic I spent more time doing the research rather than anything else.
Yes.
Hindi talaga ako nagturo, hindi ako nag-attend ng ganito. Talagang it's devoted to the research. I guess yun din yung reason ba't natapos ko siya on time. So,
Oo.
ano siya, di ngayon, okay, we'll go to the US, we'll present, and yung isang paper nga was part of the best paper proceedings pa. So alam mo yan, I was so elated to know that, wow, I mean, and then yung comments sa AOM, may comments, sobrang yung feeling na the reviewers said talaga na, oh, I enjoyed reading the paper, the contribution is this and that, and here are some recommendations to improve the writing of the paper. So ako parang, okay, yeah, I
Mm.
mean, this is so good because you receive constructive feedback then and it's dalawa yung nag-review and then to say that okay the paper has contribution. I think as a researcher, as a scholar, yun na yung pinakamasarap mong maririnig sa ibang tao na the contribution that you saw in the paper nakita din nila, which
Mm.
means you're able to communicate what you're adding into the existing body of knowledge. Parang ganon. So, ayan. Kaya ngayon, nandito ako sa US because I presented our paper last week in AOM and then I attended a lot of professional development workshops. Yung supervisor ko, ni-nominate na din ako for the OB Doctoral Consortium, which is
Mhm.
another like, hindi naman competitive pero very limited yung slots from all
Mhm.
over the world and all. So I met a lot of, alam mo yung feeling that you meet people that you cite.
Wow.
Uh, yeah,
So
that's
they're
the thing.
experts in the
You're meeting,
field.
exactly, you're meeting people you are citing. And parang, ito na siguro yung feeling ng nasa starstruck ka. Talagang, wow. I saw Denise
Mhm.
Rousseau in person. If you're doing psych contracts, it's like, it's a must. If you don't know Denise Rousseau, iba yata yung ginagawa mo. So, alam mo yun, it's the big names and
Mm.
may isang time pa well, kwento ko na since yun na yung topic natin. So, I presented the
Yeah,
paper
go.
and then I attended the consortium. In the
Mm.
consortium, since it's for finishing students, talagang yung ano is, how do you craft a meaningful career in the academia? How do you meet the editors. We met the editors, na meeting with the editors, Q&A ng mga top journals in management, like Journal of Applied Psychology, Personal Psychology. So nandun sila. If you have questions, you can ask them. And
Mhm.
then we also had a talk on teaching practices for inclusivity. So parang, di ba, it's very inspiring. So dun pa lang sa
Mm-mm.
una, how to craft a meaningful career, na parang yung pinaka-key takeaway ko sa talk was, kasi sobrang chaotic ng PhD and post-PhD life. Because you're trying to sort everything out. Kasi hindi nga siya
Yes.
natatapos
Mm-mm.
sa pagsulat ng dissertation eh. If tapos na yun doon, eh, di ang dali na ng buhay ko ngayon. Di ba?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't end there.
So
Kumbaga,
there's career molding happening.
yes. Yes, exactly. So parang, yun nga yung sinabi na ang key takeaway sa amin is you have to keep doing the good work because as an academic, as a researcher, sobrang delayed ano siya eh. A good paper takes you what, 2 or 3 years or
Mm-hmm.
even 5 before it gets published. 'Di ba?
Wow. Mm-mm.
Yung analogy nga nung speaker is it's long enough for you to raise a child. Diba? One of her kids was like newborn when we were doing a paper. They were doing a paper. And then when it got published, mga toddler na yung bata, around 4 or 5. So it takes a while. So talagang ang sa amin is, kasi you're contributing to the discipline. You're contributing to the discipline. It means na talagang it's a broader community. Diba? So you have to keep doing the good work. You have to embrace the chaos because eventually it will fall into place. Parang ganun ba? Na parang, I think sa lahat ng career na naiisip ko, if you are in an academic one, ano siya eh, grabe yung process because it requires so much work. Delayed yung gratification, yung pag, everything takes long, di ba? So you need to have, ano ba, grit to navigate through. And then yun din yung tinanong ko sa isang panelist kasi may round table kami. Na yung tinanong ko siya, so how do you keep doing the good work and
Yeah.
making
Oo.
sure that you meet the long-term goals while knowing that you have short-term goals to achieve. 'Di ba? Na hindi naman pwedeng yung long-term lang. Meron kang nasa pagitan. So parang sa kanya nga, it's goal setting, knowing your priorities and all. So parang I was so inspired na
Mm-mm.
talagang you have the choice naman eh to get out of this and all. But eto siya, this is how you navigate it. Keep doing the good work. Walang mawawala if you approach people. Alam mo yun na he was sharing, you can email scholars in the field. If they reply, then good. If not, okay lang. Diba? Sa field nga na to, you'll get a lot of rejections, which I was able to relate. Nire-reject nga tayo eh. Di, what would an email do to you? It won't even harm you, right? Kung hindi sila
Mm-mm.
sumagot, it's fine. Pero if they respond and then they tell you, oh yeah, we can work on a paper together, it's like, wow, it's you telling me that, alam mo yon, my dreams would be unfolding right in front of
Mm-mm.
my very eyes. So very inspirational. And then even the editors were telling us, this is how we do if you want to publish your dissertation. May mga journals na tumatanggap, ganito,
Mm-mm.
ganyan. It's more of talagang, how do you transition from point A to point B? How do
Mm-mm.
you prepare for an academic talk? Kasi sa US pala, if you're applying for an assistant professor job, meron kang academic talk. You'll present your research. Para kang nagde-defend ulit. Ganyan. So ano, ganun yung mga, hindi ako masyadong nakarelate because sa Australia, hindi ganun yung setup. But I was happy to
Mm-mm.
know. And the thing is, in every table, may nakaupo na round table
Mm-mm.
host for us and then they share. And then alam mo, after nung sessions, ginugol ko yung mga tao. Talagang I almost fell off my chair. Like, imagine the first panelist na naka-round table namin, he's very down to earth, he's very nice, but I didn't know he did his PhD in OB from Wharton.
Mm-hmm.
And then may isang
Para ka
session
na
pa sa
starstruck.
AOM.
So,
So
huli
may
ka na
isang
na
session sa
starstruck.
may isang session sa AOM, it's Ask the Quantitative Experts. Kasi sobrang I'm a quant person as a researcher. And I'm so inclined with methods. Yung parang pinaglalaruan ko. So
Mm-mm.
merong Ask the Quantitative Expert. So I'm doing a paper on dyadic date analysis, which is couples, may isang expert na sinabi, nandun siya, and then, oh, if you have questions on dyadic analysis, go to her session or her room, her breakout room. So, pinuntahan ko. She's very nice. I was able to ask her, ang dami kong natanong, to the point, very specific sa research ko. And then, she's very kind to tell me, if you want, you can share the model with me, and then I can give you feedback, and then I can give you comments, what I usually ask as a reviewer. And then, sinare ko sa supervisor ko. His reaction was like, oh my God, you met this person. So, which means he's really a big name in the field. So, parang ako, wow, imagine, nagtatanong, parang very casual lang ganito. Nag-uusap kami sa Zoom, tinatanong ko siya, sumasagot siya, nagbibigay siya ng feedback. And for me, I was like, ito siguro yung meaning nung you're standing on the shoulder of giants. Diba? When you Google Scholar, yun yung lumalabas. Sabi ko, ito siguro yun. You meet big names, you approach them, and then they are accommodating. Kasi kami yung younger ones sa field na hindi pa nagsimula yung career. Parang alam mo yun, okay, wow, this person responded to me. This person, alam mo, sobrang ano lang, sobrang my AOM experience was very productive kasi nakapag-present ka ng paper, tapos na-meet ka ng scholars, you met a lot of people. It was very, more than being something that equips me professionally, it was also very inspirational and motivating. This is the field that we took. And parang sa akin siguro kasi, for some people, you get overwhelmed when you meet others na from big schools, Ivy League and all. And knowing that you'll feel intimidated. But my mindset at that time was, I earned my spot here too. Diba? So there's a reason why I'm here. And since nandito na ako, what I'll do is I'll learn from the things that they're doing. Kasi like in the US, a PhD is 4 or 5 years. So yung iba kong kasama, 5th year, di ba? Kamusta naman 3 years lang kami. So in 3 years, I'll be able to do as much as the ones in 5 years. Because of that, because of AOM, I was so inspired to come up with my own big project. Siyempre nag-dissertation ako, pero I've learned a lot from that. But I've been inspired to come up with a big project that I can submit in, a really top journal that will take 4 or 5 years. So parang na-inspire ako na ngayon pa lang, sisimulan ko na siya. It's like, I'll have my baby project that, alam mo yun, kasi good things take time. Na parang, I was so ready to do it again. Na hindi ka naman mag-dissertation, but this time, it's a research that interests you. And you'll lead it because you want to get that career maker or career making milestone. So parang ako, okay, like yung mga big journals sa management, it takes really a while. Academy of Management Journal, Journal of Applied Psychology, parang it's so ambitious. But because of AOM and meeting people who were able to do it, parang nasabi ko sa sarili ko na if kaya ng iba, susubukan din natin. Then if it gets rejected, it will ultimately find its home. So gano'n, na parang I was so hyped and I was so motivated na parang kung pagod na pagod ka because of doing the work day in and day out, it was like refueling and reminding.
Yeah, it is.
It's reminding me na this is the reason why you're here, why you chose it to begin with. And alam mo yun, it's like connecting you lang again to your roots, to your why, bakit ka nandito. And minsan kailangan lang tayong ma-remind, I guess.
Yes, it is.
So,
It is.
AOM helped me.
And it also seems that, the experience in AOM cemented this path that you're taking. Because
Exactly, I think.
Because I know if you have been writing for 3 years and, in the course of that 3 years, I'm sure there were questions. Ito ba? Is this really this?
Diba? I told you,
in between the routines, it can be.
Sa akin, ang daming diba? One is, saan ba akong discipline nakabilong? I used to identify with accounting because it's my training. It's ever since, diba? And now I'm doing management research. So one question was, where do you identify yourself? You have to craft your identity as a researcher. So dun pa lang, ang hirap na. Diba? I guess because nag-hold back nga ako masyado because accounting was for how many years I'm an
Oh,
accountant.
your
I've,
comfort zone.
diba? So parang, and because of AOM, talagang parang kumawala. I'm ready to embrace that, okay, accounting and all, with the training and everything, none of those matter now. Kung ano na yung meron ngayon, yun na yung kailangan kong gawin, which is, I'm embracing na, okay, I'll do management, OB, because there's a lot. Kumbaga, I was able to close one door and yet open another one and see that there are lots of possibilities. And I've experienced din nga kasi sa amin, may research unit yung supervisor ko. And then sabi niya, oh, you want to be a student member? It's like a health and well-being research unit, which is also management. So I said yes. Kumbaga at this point in my career, I'm never saying no.
Mhm.
Diba? I'm never saying no. And parang ano din you can't be choosy with the opportunities that are coming your way.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, it's more of you're grateful because something is coming. And yun yung mindset ko, na it might not be what you like, it might not be what interests you, but dumating yung opportunity. And you don't often get it, diba? So you don't say no. You have to embrace it. You have to adapt so that ano mo siya, magagawa mo siya, and time will come, what interests you, pwede mo na siyang i-pursue. So I'm amenable to that, to make those compromises. And sorry, medyo nawala ako.
Oo.
So what was I saying?
Aeson, nag-evolve ka na talaga. Kasi,
What was I saying? Ay, yung sa management, 'di ba, na
mm-mm.
uh, yun nga na I can't choose, pero so ngayon in-embrace ko na, nakita ko na ang daming possibility. And yung sa research unit, we were able to meet people from Queensland,
Mhm.
and they're talking about their research interests, and sabi ko, oh no, ito din yung isa kong, alam mo yan, I'm interested in this. And I approached the person, and then we had a good 10-15 minute talk, and yung
Mhm.
parang feeling na you met someone who is also interested in doing something. It's like yung mga light bulbs nyo ay nag-connect at umilaw.
Mm-mm.
And to be honest, I never felt na I don't belong. Parang every time I'm with management people, lagi kong nararamdaman na, oh, I fit here.
Oo. Yeah.
Na parang alam mo yun, arms are open, wide,
Mm-mm.
and you belong. Yun yung naramdaman ko, to be honest. Na ang dami. Kasi sa accounting talaga parang, siguro it was my fault din na, okay, my context is auditing or accounting. But
Mhm.
the theories, the methodology, the style, it's management. It took
Mhm.
me 3 years to figure it out because I had my hesitations, my reservations. Because technically ngayon yung qualification ko, it's PhD in accounting.
Mhm.
But honestly, I'm applying for lecturing in management. But my
Oh.
supervisor, it doesn't matter. Kasi
Yeah.
your portfolio will speak for itself and all. And I'm teaching principles of management, which I've also
Mm.
enjoyed. Na parang, it's like breaking free from the numbers, from the box and all. And now it's more of just being yourself and doing these things. Sobrang na-amaze ako na, okay, 'di ba? Parang people will not think of it this way. 'Di ba? Kung iisipin mo,
Yeah.
oh, in accounting, you're supposed to be, kumbaga kasi sa Pilipinas nga, linear yung training. Ako naman nag-deviate towards the end. But I guess I'm happy because yung feeling na it keeps you going and it's
Mm-mm.
interesting. Wow! And yung mga kilala
Oo.
kong scholars sa management, hindi sa accounting, di ba?
Mm-mm.
So, it was like, okay, so at least yun, na-settle ko na yung isa, di ba? Nasa ang discipline, it took me a while, but AOM, I guess, helped so much. I've been
Yes.
wondering about it because, yun nga, hindi ka pa pwedeng, you cannot sit in two disciplines. You have to craft your identity. So, ngayon, nagsisimula na ako. Medyo may regret because sayang din yung 3 years. But pag tinitingnan ko naman in terms of the learning, in terms of the network, the relationships that you've built, the collaborations that you've formed, walang sayang.
Yeah. Wala.
It
Yeah, that's true.
really led to where you're supposed to be. So let
Yeah.
go na. It's so liberating
Oo.
din. Diba?
Mm.
And
Alam
then
mo
nag-iisip
ano,
ako to,
natatawa ako. Sorry. I was about to ask, what's the major transformation that you have
baka ito
experienced
nga
in
yun.
this? Ito nga yun, you found yourself,
Shifting
your
from a different
identity, your
shift, di
area
ba? Crafting my
talaga.
identity as a researcher, shifting from one field to another. Kasi to be honest, wala naman akong experience working as an accountant. 'Di ba? You know that after I graduated, I joined teaching. So, medyo mababaw din yung hold ko sa field except for the training that I got. 'Di ba? Kaya siguro madali din na, sige, okay, tanggapin ko na I'm not. But na ngayon, my
Mababaw
research is
pa ba
behind
yun?
me. Hindi parang,
I
'di
don't
ba?
think it
Siguro,
is.
I think the mababaw is coming from, siguro if I had practiced in the industry, 'di ba?
Ah.
If nag-practice ako ng 5, 6 years, talagang yung identity mo nandun. And then you
Mhm.
taught accounting. Kumbaga, ano siya eh. Well, second nature ko siya before, 'di ba? I really struggled when I started teaching principles of management. Ako na si segue ko na naman. When I started teaching principles of management, I struggled
Mhm.
because imagine walang numero. I have to discuss concepts. I have to facilitate the tutorial and iba yung atake. So the
Mm.
first semester was an adjustment. This semester, sabi ko sa friend ko, alam mo today, it's a lot easier. Kasi nahanap ko yung groove.
Mhm.
Nahanap ko na yung, I guess it's big, I owe it din to the experience that I got from LaSalle as, kasi regardless, it's teaching, right? So
Yes.
nahanap ko yung
Mhm.
groove. Nahanap ko yung groove and all na ngayon, eto na. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
So I was very happy. Ito yung
Oo.
biggest change na
Mm.
siguro nga may mga twists coming along the way and siguro ang thankful ako, nahanap ko siya. Kasi
Yeah.
pwede namang
Nothing
natapos
is
ako,
wasted talaga, eh, no?
pwede namang natapos ako na, oh, I'm still pushing
Mhm.
accounting. But ngayon, confidently I can say na yun nga, ito na yung gusto ko, ito na yung gagawin ko, ito na yung i-embrace ko. I guess, ang laking factor ng environment does a lot of, your environment contributes rather a lot
Mhm.
to it. 'Di ba? Kasi kahit mga friends ko from management din, so pag nag-uusap kami, parang, alam mo yun, dati biro-biroan lang, pero ngayon, I'm a part of the field,
Mhm.
'di ba? And yun nga, yung motivation, yung inspiration to embrace it. Parang siguro, it's something courageous to do, kasi
Yeah, it
iiwanan
is.
mo. And tapos parang for me, in terms of research, umakyat ka pa, pumunta ka pa sa mas mahirap in a sense na
Mm.
in terms of difficulty, mas mahirap sa management, mas competitive. But kumbaga, sige, let's join the party.
Mm. In everything, sige, the past 3 years, well, 3 years in Macquarie, right? But in LaSalle na PhD, it also took, gaano katagal ka ba doon? A
Well,
year,
with
more
LaSalle
than a year
halos,
din?
it's a year lang, 3 terms.
A
I just
year.
did
Mm.
coursework, yep.
Oo. Ano yung mga ano, in a nutshell, could you summarize what's the major lessons that you have learned in this journey? Kasi right now you
Siguro first,
already know where it is that you're going. You can
oo,
clearly see it. But the
siguro
process of going through
ano
that,
ba?
'di ba? Ano yung
Ang
major
first,
lessons?
ang first ko is, kasi your research or dissertation, it's your responsibility, it's your baby. Even if you
Mhm.
have supervisors to help, it's not theirs.
Yeah.
So, parang ang nangyari sa akin is, you have to keep doing the work day in and day out. There will be a lot of days na mas madaming lows kaysa sa highs, mas maraming down moments. Sobrang, alam mo yun, there will be times na talagang it will tear you down. But you have to, uh, you have to rise
Continue.
up. And,
Yeah.
totoo, tapos na yung field nga, tapos ako pa, dati, hanggang ngayon pa rin naman, it's very hard for me to accept, paano ba, yung mga harsh comments.
Mm.
Dinadamdam ko talaga. The first time I received a comment from my paper, nung pina-review namin that was rejected, I wasn't able to sleep. Because basically, after you worked on it for a year, the reviewer is telling us, you're not contributing anything. Hindi, di ba, parang ako, binuhusan ka ng napakalamig na tubig. But, as I went on, you have to develop a thick skin. People will tell you the same things. May mga makukuha ka na constructive na pwede mong gawin, edi piliin mo and then apply it. May mga nasty, may mga irrelevant, discard. So it's like choosing what to take in and what not to take in. Kung lahat i-absorb mo, walang mangyayari. And
You have to filter.
don't think of it as personal, 'di ba? You can receive harsh comments and all that will demoralize you, but it's not about you. It's about the work. You have to reflect on it. Kasi minsan, as researchers, very blinded rin tayo with, we are so into our work. And if we are so into our work, minsan if you are so close to the details, you don't get to see things. Kailangan mo palagi ng ibang perspective. So, di ba, minsan may point, minsan wala. Kunin mo yung may point. And then discard mo yung wala. Ano pa ba? Ang natutunan ko din is, I think nasabi ko din before, talagang support system siya. PhD is a solitary journey. In-isolate ka talaga even before pandemic, 'di ba? Para kang nagmumongha or what kasi you'll do the work alone. But hindi ibig sabihin wala kang support system. Because a lot of the work that you have to do by yourself, yung motivation mo, dun mo kukunin. So you have to surround yourself with good people. And for me, yung supervisors ko, napakalaki ng role that they played with that. Pati yung mga friends ko. Because they were able to give you the social-emotional support that you needed while doing the work. Kasi hindi mo talaga kaya.
Yeah.
And I guess yun nga, dahil nga ang daming moments na na mas na-depressing, disappointing, kailangan mayroon ka talagang inspiration na nakukuha every now and then. 'Di ba? Kasi nga, lagi ko itong nadidinig, it's a marathon. And there was one time, pina-explain ko bakit. Sabi niya sa akin, 'di ba, in a marathon, it's a long one. So you don't hindi ka pa pwedeng tatakbo ka ng mabilis umpisa para mauna ka sa dulo. You have to pace to make sure you get to the finish line. And I think getting to that finish line, it's a process of conserving resources, recharging your resources. Kasi mawawalan ka talaga, you lose resources in between. Pero yung mga gains dapat will be more than the losses so that masusustain mo. O, di ba? Yan yung, kaya yan yung framing kasi yan yung isa sa favorite theories ng supervisor ko, conservation of resources. So, you lose a lot of resources kasi may stressors, napakadami sa PhD. But you should know how to conserve your resources to facilitate gains more than losses. So, yung mga support, social-emotional, nasa environment mo, yan yung mga magbibigay ng gains to keep you moving, to keep you. Kasi napakadaling alam mo yon. Kasi sa research, hindi nga siya katulad ng bachelor's na you have to finish it within a timeline.
Yeah.
Diba? Ikaw ang magdidictate. It's all up to you. Ito talaga yung captain. And yun yung nangyari sa akin. Like, do the work day in, day out, day in, day out. And paulit-ulit, pero sige lang. Diba? And paano ko ba sasabihin? The thing with this din is, hindi siya as simple as what people would think. Pero pipiliin mo siya eh. So, andyan ka na. And procrastinating or delaying it minsan, yun yung nangyari sa akin eh. Kasi I had an option to extend for 2 months. Kasi nga COVID. So if you did your PhD in COVID, everyone is understanding. You can extend for 2 months with may stipend pa, may scholarship pa. So, di ba, yung 2 months na yun, it's a good thing dahil may support ka financially, you can buy the time, technically. But parang ako, no, there's no point in extending it. If you want to have it done, tapusin na natin. Because ano ba magagawa ng 2 months sa March and then on June? Parang wala naman. So I made the decision to consciously tapusin natin because I want this to be over with. Not the research part, but at least the administrative deadlines of submitting a thesis, getting the degree, because it's a learning process. Even after you submitted your dissertation, you'll do a lot of revisions, you'll do a lot of changes when you submit it for a journal and all. So para sa akin, sige, hindi yan matatapos if you want to craft a perfect dissertation because there's no such thing. Diba? So, hindi mo siya mapapaganda ng sobra. Just do your best. ako sabi ko nga, I always find comfort in the fact that I did everything that I can. So if you
Mm-mm.
did your best, no matter what happens, that's it. 'Di ba? Kung may mga changes and all, I did my best. Wala kang
Yeah.
regret. So it's not gonna be perfect. It never will be. But considering the constraints that you have and what you're able to do with what you have, that's it. 'Di ba? And hindi yun nakakahiya kasi
Yeah,
uh,
definitely. Mm-mm.
knowing, minsan kasi nga, if we're too perfectionist, wala ka talagang, kumbaga, ito din yung principle ko when I was writing. Getting the first draft written, no matter how ugly or how shitty it is, that's the first step. You never get to write it perfectly. 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
Kaya ako minsan sa first time, sige, sulat, ang dami, ang haba. Let's trim, let's edit. It will take shape. Ganon.
Mhm.
'Di ba? Kasi very frustrating if you want it in one go. Even those who are very experienced, it takes them some time. And my supervisor keeps on telling me, writing persuasively, writing convincingly, it's experience. Na ngayon ko yung kinukuha. 'Di
Yeah,
ba?
you could learn how to
Ang
write
dami
that
pa, to be
way.
honest. Sa akin siguro, well, sa Pilipinas kasi if people would think of it, parang getting a PhD is the end. It's like it's the pinnacle. It's on top. And that's it. It ends. 'Di ba? Dito, it's like kung may hagdan, okay, you're on step 1. Nasa baba ka ng hagdan. Para umakyat ka, you have to persist more. Kumbaga, it's the training ground that you had.
Mm.
And talagang the more difficult things will come. Harder ones would come. Kung dati siguro mas understanding kasi you are a student, now you're no longer a student. 'Di ba? Yun din yung sinasabi sa akin palagi na now, hindi ka na student. If you're not a student, when we talk, we are co-equals. Though culturally, may power distance, 'di ba? We tend to revere but no, yung treatment na sa akin ngayon is you are a co-author. So if you have to tell us something, go tell us. Ganun na siya, nagpantay na, pero you will still earn everything. 'Di ba? So I guess that's another change na from being a student, now you have to step up the plate. You have to
Yeah.
step up the game na you are a co-author, you are a collaborator, and hindi ka pwede maging stagnant eh. Ngayon, what
Mm-mm.
I'm working on is I'm learning new methods that I haven't tried before. Kasi yun yung way mo to be marketable para masali ka sa teams, para may makipag-collaborate sa'yo. You have to bring in something unique. Eh, hindi
Mhm.
kung pare-pareho tayo ng alam, anong madadala ko? 'Di ba? That is what happened to me last year. The project is dyadic data, couples. So
Mm-mm.
iba yung structure. My supervisor gave me time to learn. So talagang inaral ko. I searched online, may mga workshops, may libro, trial and error. It was a very messy process. Sobrang frustrating sa umpisa. Pero nung napagana ko yung codes, nung lumalabas yung result, parang, oh my God, I can tell people na natutunan ko siya. Alam mo yun, doon ko nakita din na parang kahit hindi pa ako naliligo today because I've been sitting, coding and all. Nung napagana ko siya, parang it compensated for everything. Nawala yung gutom, yung pagod ko. And I'm so excited to tell like, oh, the code got work, and then we can discuss, we can meet. And then when you
Mhm.
find interesting results, alam mo yun, I guess yun siya eh. Kasi ang tinitest naman natin mga hindi pa nasubukan sa literature. So ano siya talagang you'll never know what you'll get. And then pag gumagana siya parang yeah, I have something. And then my co-authors will confirm, oh yeah, pwede nating i-explain to this way, ganito, ganyan, ganyan. This is the story. Kumbaga, ngayon, research is storytelling. And it's like, it made me realize na it's your tool to tell a story. It might not be as interesting as say Harry Potter or other fiction stuff, but it's your way to tell a story, 'di ba? Totoo siya, eh.
Mm-mm.
There's a problem you're trying to address. And as a
Mhm.
researcher, you are a storyteller. So yun din yung isa kong wino-work ngayon. I have to be a good storyteller. So even though this is scientific, there's a craft, there's an art to it. That's something I really aspire to be. Na to be a good storyteller. Maybe in the next years, I'll be able to develop myself na maging isang good storyteller. Right now, I'm working on the method side. So, yun yung ambag ko sa team. But sana, pero yun yung gusto ko, when you work with people, you learn their style, how they do it. Oh, ito yung mga pwede kong i-adapt. Ano kasi ako parang I'm okay with being surrounded ng talagang magagaling. Kasi may mga
Yeah.
tao nga na intimidate na parang, oh, ayoko, ganyan. Ako parang, I don't mind. There's always
You're
somebody
you're
who,
you're kind of a sponge right now. Inaabsorb
tapos
mo
parang,
lahat.
hindi, oo, tapos parang, there's always somebody who'll be better than you, and that's so
That's
okay. And it's
okay.
so
Yeah.
nice to talk to them. It's
Mm-hmm.
so nice to talk to them, to learn from them, to learn from each other, kasi ikaw meron ka ding maibibigay sa kanila. And iyon siguro yung gusto ko na, I
Mm-hmm.
guess this is what makes it very noble, very unique. Because you learn from each other, you, in any work naman meron. Pero ito yung,
Yes.
you guys are sobrang big yung task in such a way that you're contributing to a body of knowledge. 'Di ba? People might see that maliit siya if you compare to the grand scheme of things. But yung maliit na mark na yon is it's a contribution. 'Di ba? And yun nga sabi nila with us, you take your work wherever you go. You can move institutions, universities, but no one can take your work away from you. And tumama yun
Well,
sa akin na parang okay, 'di ba?
oh,
Because
you're already leaving a legacy, eh.
so before kasi when I was in the Philippines, the mindset that was instilled by people to me is stability. And it's more of stability by getting tenure, stability
Mm,
by getting a job, which I understand because
mm-mm,
it's an extrinsic need. Especially
mm-mm.
nagkaroon ka ng pandemic, right? Siyempre iba yung
Yeah.
feeling that you have job security. You'll be in an institution that will give you certainty. So that's fine. But na-realize ko may mga taong katulad ko siguro na ang aspiration ko sa life hindi yung stability to get financially stable or what na
It comes
parang
because it will come, you know.
it
It will
will
come.
come na parang I'm the type of person na kumbaga the more very aspirational. Now what fuels me is well kasi nga 'di ba if yun naman yung gusto ko I could have worked a corporate job.
Mhm.
It comes
Yes.
there instantaneously. It comes there kumpara mo sa isang academic job. But,
Mhm.
'di ba, it's what fuels you, it's what yung purpose, yung meaning. So parang yun. So, kasi ganun yung training ko dati. Parang yun yung stability na na-imbibe sa akin. Pero nung
Oo.
nag-PhD ako, na-redefine ko yung concept ng stability. And how can you be paano stability? If you learn skills, if you develop skills, if you learn a lot of things, you're also stable because you can go anywhere. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
It's
Oo.
very easy to
You
market
know,
yourself. You're not dependent on a job or an institution. You are dependent on what you can do and what you can bring in the table. And dun yun yung motivation ko ngayon na talagang sige, learn tayo ng ganito, learn tayo ng ganyan because people will take you because you've done this, you've done that. Sobrang
mhm.
makalat siya ngayon, but embrace the chaos, embrace there's beauty in uncertainty, I guess. And
Yeah, you have learned to embrace uncertainty and chaos.
sobrang sobrang ang hirap for me because
Mm-mm.
but yun na siya 'di ba? There's always a decision on whether you'll keep going on or you'll stop. Palagi naman eh. But the fact that I'm still here, I guess I'm still deciding na I'm going on, 'di ba?
Yeah.
At any point you can stop. But
Mm-mm.
kumbaga ano eh, malayo pa. Pero malayo na rin naman yung nalakad mo.
Yes. You know, ano ha, I feel privileged that I have witnessed you at the start,
Well,
sa
totoo, right? I think
and then now,
when
which is, it's the end, but you know,
we're
it's the
we're
beginning.
looking at what 2013, 2014, 'di ba? That was almost 8, 9 years
Yeah.
ago. And then
Mm-mm.
yung mga times na very shaky, alam mo 'yan, 'di ba?
Yes,
And then
yes.
yung mga medyo nasa padulo na ng journey, tapos ngayon tapos na.
Yeah. And then, tapos, it's at the end, but in reality, it's actually the beginning again, di
It's
ba?
the beginning, correct. Yun
Mm-mm.
din yung tingin ko. Alam mo yun when I got the news na yun, hindi na ako magre-revise, may completion letter. I was given 1 to a week or so to embrace the high emotions. So
Mm-mm.
you've earned it, the euphoria. Now you're floating, we're done, it's it, that's it. But after that, okay, ito na yung work na kailangan
Yeah.
natin gawin.
Mm-mm.
Which is
And
the more important things.
yeah, and you're so passionate about it right now. It's you're singing a different tune from my last conversation with you.
Hindi totoo yan. Alam mo kasi, well, last time I was contemplating, di ba?
Mm-mm.
I guess
Yeah.
siguro, yung pagiging passionate is, it's not just about the liking, pero
Mm-hmm.
napakalaking factor if there are people who will, para sa akin, like my supervisor, when I told you we had a talk, we had a career talk and all, and we had a conversation on him taking me into projects. Kumbaga parang ang naging mindset ko, he can take someone else. He has a
Mm-hmm.
good network. He can take someone who's more established and all to do the work. But sino ba ako? 'Di ba? Here I am being given the opportunity to be part of the project, being compensated so that at least financially, I won't struggle because research requires you to do a lot of work. 'Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So sabi ko, okay, sino ba ako para, alam mo yon, yun yung mindset ko eh, sino ba ako para bigyan mo ako ng ganitong opportunity? And I guess it's the gratitude na I'm so grateful for the opportunities that when you know somebody believes in you and somebody sees your potential, you begin to see it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? Minsan kailangan lang ng tao na magbe-bring out yun sa'yo. Kasi ang hirap din naman if you're surrounded with people who do not see your potential. Parang sa akin baliktad kasi yung mga kasama ko nga nakikita nila na meron. Kaya minsan kahit
Mm-hmm.
na ang daming self-doubts, ang daming imposter syndrome in a PhD world, sobrang prevalent niyan. But kapag may mga tao na talagang nag-a-appraise ng value mo,
Uh-huh.
you learn how to love your work because may nakikita sila sa akin. And
Mm-hmm.
nakikita ko yung, natututunan ko yung makita because you're showing it to me. And para sa akin, yun lang yun eh. You just need someone who'll believe in you. And if you
Mm-mm.
have that someone, that's more than enough to take you to greater heights or somewhere else. Because it will be difficult nonetheless, kahit saan ka pumunta. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Yung
Oo.
security blanket ko na may mga naniniwala sa akin, kahit
Mm-hmm.
na kasi talaga ano siya eh, you'll commit mistakes, you'll everything, but may naniniwala sa'yo, may sumusugal sa'yo. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact na willing kang sugalan, I want to return, I want to reciprocate it to prove that the risk is worth it, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
And para sa akin, if you took a risk on me, I'll always remember that. Na, 'di ba? O kasi kailangan kong pantayan. Paano ko papantayan? I'll work hard, I'll learn, I'll read. Kumbaga, you compensate for it. And yun lang naman yung kailangan natin minsan. It's the break and a person who will push you in will motivate you. And dun
Yeah,
ako very
or a person who could help you shift your mindset or your perception.
exactly.
Kasi you have found
Kasi
your peace.
minsan,
You're so happy
kasi
right
minsan,
now.
minsan unconsciously, 'di ba, when we talk to people, hindi mo napapansin eh.
Mm-hmm.
Pero it builds up. So, alam mo yon na parang ngayon uuwi ako pagbalik sa Australia, it's like I've found I can say na talagang sasabihin ko na sa mga ano na I'll just finish the accounting papers and all pero hindi na ako tatanggap ng bago because eto na. And minsan naisip ko maybe it's too late pero the reality is nothing is too late.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
can always be early at something and ano lang ako, I'm excited with what's gonna happen. Kumbaga, it's a lot of risk, uncertainty again, pero the only way to get there, ang thankful ako is nahanap mo, 'di ba? Nahanap mo,
Yeah.
and ngayon nahanap mo na, you can craft it. You can make the work through it. So, excited ako na
Oo.
kinakabahan and all that. Gano'n
Yes.
naman yun,
Alam,
'di ba?
you finally, ano, metamorphose. Parang you've undergone
Parang
this
butterfly ba 'to?
metamorphosis. You came out of your shell. As in,
Alam mo, hindi ko din
so
yan
different.
ine-expect. I guess, yun yung isa sa pinakamalaking, kaya for me, more than the technical or more than the growth in terms of yung pagiging researcher or yung PhD training, more than the technical aspect or yung knowledge part, talagang ano siya eh, paano ba, self-discovery,
Mm,
growth,
definitely. Yes,
na
yes.
it gives you a lot of intangibles. But sobrang helpful siya in terms of carrying out the more technical tasks, I guess.
Mm-mm.
'Di ba? So very ano ako doon, very grateful, very happy kahit na ang dami talaga prior to AOM, prior to having that conversation. Talaga I've been contemplating hard na parang ano nang gagawin ko? Kasi
Mm-mm.
minsan having a lot of options is also not a good thing. Because you can think of, 'di ba? Minsan sabi ko nga how I wish I would be a person na isa lang yung option na pwede. Because if you only have one option, you'll stick with it and
Mhm.
you'll make the most out of it, 'di ba? But I guess that's life. Uh you are fortunate enough to be dealt with a lot of cards, and it's your decision on how you're playing with the cards.
Mm-mm.
So, yun, sobrang natutuwa ako, and to be honest nung nag-AOM, kinakabahan ako kasi I'm new. I'm new to the
Mhm.
field. I don't know how things go. I don't know how, but meeting like-minded people, meeting meeting people, meeting fellow PhD students, meeting people you cite. It's like meeting your heroes, parang ganyan. Na parang, alam mo yun, lumulutang ka na talagang,
Mm-mm.
wow, wow, wow. Kahit na may jet lag ako, magigising yung
Mm-mm.
diwa ko because, 'di ba? It's being able to speak with big names, with siguro like yung mindset ko nga pa rin is if you come from a developing country like ours, everything is an opportunity, 'di
Mhm.
ba? Na parang you're seeking for the opportunity and all. So, and I found it, and alala, ang saya kasi it's not every day. And ako nga, I'm looking forward na to the next AOM next year.
Mm-mm.
Nag-iisip
Yeah.
na ako na, oh, naku,
Alam mo,
kailangan namin
it's
magpasa ng paper. Kailangan na namin magpasa ng paper. Nag-iisip na ako kung anong pwede kong i-collect from August to ano kasi January magsasubmit ulit. Alam mo yun, na
mm-mm.
parang it was a good experience for me na, of course, and then natutuwa din ako because of research, I was able to go to a lot of places in the world.
Mhm.
Diba? Because of
Yes.
research, able to travel. I
Oo.
love traveling. And because of research, nagagawa ko yung gusto ko. Nandito ako
Mm-mm.
ngayon, diba? Na I was able to do a side trip, visit my relatives. It's because of what? It's because of the research that I do. So,
Mm-mm.
alam mo yun, parang you're hitting two birds with one stone. Kaya sabi ko, oh, next year, since it's gonna be in Boston, it's time to go to the East Coast and
Mm-mm.
and all. So, alam mo yun, na parang nag-a-align siya yung mga gusto ko.
Yeah.
Nagsasakto naman siya. Though, of course, a lot of things are difficult or more complicated than this. Pero meron ka pa rin parang mga small milestones na, alam mo yon na kasama ng mga malalaki.
Parang right now, you're so comfortable with difficult or messy or chaos, and you're okay with that.
Kasi parang minsan pag hindi ka naging comfortable, napakahirap. Ganon din ako before. Alam mo, there
Mm-mm.
was a time na I've been thinking of it. I've been overthinker ako, worrier ako. Lahat ng anything that could go wrong naisip ko na, which is
Mm.
way more complex than what it would actually be. Like for
Yeah,
instance,
actually, I
I was
talked to you last June, 'di ba? Sabi mo, I am going to AOM on my own. Baka naman nakatayo lang ako sa isang sulok. And
Tapos
now,
hindi, parang alam mo kung
and
ano pa
now
naisip
you're
ko?
enjoying yourself. You have
Ano pa yung
enjoyed?
naisip ko? Kasi I'm traveling to the US, sabi ko, what if, it's been a while since I've traveled, and then, sabi ko, what if, baka pabalikin ako sa, airport to airport ako, yung mga ganon na talagang, ang layo na ng narating ko, di ba? But when I was there in the immigration, oh, where are you going? I'm attending the Academy of Management. Like, okay, oh, that's it. Yung ganon,
Mm-mm.
worrier ako,
Mm-mm.
lahat naiisip ko. But, ang hirap nun kasi nakakapagod. Nakahiga na ako
Yeah,
sa
it
gabi.
is.
Still thinking.
Mm-mm.
I'm still thinking. And hindi ka talaga your body might be laying down, pero yung mind mo gumagana. So
Mm-mm.
ngayon, parang ako, ang mantra ko na lang is, kung ano yung controllables ko, sige, yun ang gawin natin. Yung mga
Yeah,
hindi,
you choose your battles.
hindi ko na aanuhin, tapos talagang magiging chaotic, uncertain. Eh, pinili ko to di ba? The easier way would have been, I should have not done a PhD. Di ba?
Mm-mm.
That's reality, real talk. Yun yung madali. Hindi ka na ganyan. I studied something different. When you finish that, you get a job. That's it. There's
Mhm.
certainty, there's stability. Pero, yun nga, minsan, ang dami kong sinusort out ngayon. Figuring out a job, arranging my residency, and all. But, parang for somebody before na very linear, if you are
Mhm.
very linear, it's like one at a time.
Mhm.
Diba? Hindi pwede yun. If you are an academic, things do not happen linearly. Diba? So, sabay-sabay. So, sige, bring it on. I-sort out natin isa-isa. And eventually, naniniwala naman ako na things fall out into their places. 'Di ba? Kung saan sila dapat. Like ako
Yeah.
ngayon. 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
Like, my supervisor, na-meet ko lang siya before. I think I've shared this before. In-introduce lang siya ni Dean Gozon. Tapos,
Mm.
lang kami, oh, hi, hello, how are you doing? Who would have thought na ngayon we'll be working together? We are working together even after PhD. Alam mo yun, na parang naniniwala ako sa, one of my friends told me when my accounting units got canceled this semester, sabi niya sa akin, if you believe in fate, ito yon, 'di ba? Nagko-contemplate ka. Now it made easy, things were made
Made
easier for you.
made the decision easier.
'Di ba? Wala ka ng choice. Wala kang choice. Ito yon. So you have to
Mm-mm.
embrace, and then I told her, yeah, that's correct. And I was very happy na, to be honest, yung time na yun, I felt comfortable na
Mhm.
okay, yes. Kasi
Oo.
kung
Sa
natuloy pareho, I
management
have to
ka na.
explain. Kung natuloy yun pareho, I have to explain to the unit convener, isa lang yung pwede kong piliin. Kasi nga, I'm working on the research projects, which is our priority at the moment. 'Di ba? Na yun yung
Mm-mm.
priority, yung teaching ko talaga parang sustenance and experience lang siya.
Mhm.
So, 'di ba, kung natuloy yun, I had to say no to one of them. And parang ang hirap naman na, naku, tinanggap mo na, babawiin mo ulit. O ngayon, it was made easier for me. So mga ganon na parang with my PhD experience, di ba? May mga nangyayaring talagang itinadhana.
Yeah.
And hindi
Mm.
mo siya pwedeng, I guess hindi mo siya pwedeng pigilan. Hindi mo siya mapipigilan. Talagang lalabas na lang siya and all. And siguro minsan maa-amaze ka na, oh wow, this is how it turned out to be. Mahirap kasi pag nire-resist mo din eh. Pag nire-resist mo, mas lalong complicated. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Kailangan talaga, hindi lang resilient eh, talagang siguro adaptable ka talaga.
Oo.
Na kung ito yung meron, ano ka, sumayaw ka sa
Y-
kung anong meron natin.
Mm-mm. Your faith really came out.
'Di ba? Alam mo, people would be surprised, 'di ba? Na siguro kung halimbawa sa Pilipinas, when my colleagues would see me now, oh, you used to teach accounting, you identify as an accountant. Ngayon, iba na.
Mhm.
And it was easy for me to let go because yun nga, meron kang,
Yeah.
you're
I,
embracing something else.
mm-mm. I guess that's the journey of most doctoral students. You really get to find your own identity as a researcher, your own specialization, so to speak,
Mhm.
and craft a new path revolving around that. And you have found
Yun
yours and
talaga
you're
siya.
happy with that.
Yun
So
talaga siya
talagang,
kasi,
mm-mm,
'di ba? Ganun siya eh, na ikaw talaga yung, kumbaga, if we're driving, nasa yung steering wheel.
yeah,
People
that's true.
can tell you ito yung mga stops, pero you're responsible for your own growth or direction. So, yun nga, I guess I found peace in that decision. Kasi kung patatagalin ko pa, 'di ba? Pwede namang gawin ko pareho. Tapos pati sa jobs, pag nag-a-apply ako, ang mga nakikita ko, oh, may lecture in accounting, applyan ko. Lecture in, applyan ko din.
Mm-mm,
Pero ang hirap. And when, kasi sa Australia, you have to address a selection criteria. And then napansin ko, it was easier for me to address the selection criteria in management than in accounting. Because in management, the only difficulty was my degree. But I can say that my research program is this and that. But
mm-mm,
sa accounting, after my degree, ano nang sasabihin ko? Aside from my experience
mm,
in the Philippines, yung gano'n, na parang,
oo,
minsan yung mga clues nasa harap mo din,
mm-mm,
i-ignore mo lang siya. Or hindi ka nagpe-pay attention because iba yung, sabi nga nila, iba yung tinitingnan sa tinititigan. 'Di ba?
mm-mm,
Iba yung ano
yeah,
ko, iba yung, I'm looking at things differently because blinded ako ng gusto kong makita. Pero when you started looking at these things, okay, wow. Diba? The fact na
You're
mas
more aware na. You're more aware.
diba? The fact that mas nadadalian akong sumagot ng selection criteria, baka it's telling me that yung fit,
Mm-mm.
'di ba?
Mm-mm.
Hindi siya hard sell, hindi siya hindi mo in-insist. And yun nga, mahirap din kasi pinagsisiksikan mo. So ngayon medyo nakawala ako dun sa mold na sinisiksik ko yung sarili ko sa ibang discipline. I mean, nothing against the discipline, but
Yes,
I
of course.
I belong somewhere else. And that's the good thing. You're able to find it. You're able to. I'm excited to grow in the discipline. Kasi until now, talagang I still see myself. Well, I'm still an ECR naman, an early career researcher. So alam mo yun, marami pa, malayo pa yung tatakbuhin. And I'm
Yes.
excited to build. Kasi yun nga yung isa ding beauty dun sa talk na natenda namin. The relationships that you build, the collaborations that you build, you'll take them with you no matter what. So doon din ako kasi very relational ako as a person. And I guess if I'm in this work, in this profession, being able to build good relationships mean a lot. And I'm so looking forward to the process na you'll meet collaborators, you'll work with the people you're citing, di ba? Na parang, alam mo yon, and nai-inspire ako na nakakatuwa pag you meet someone who was able to do a lot of good work. So parang doon ako nagdo-draw ng inspiration. Imbes na ma-envy ka na because, oh, the person is very productive, ako hindi. Parang ako, kung kaya nila, kakayanin ko. Parang ganon. Which is siguro isa
Nakakatuwa.
din.
I love what you're saying right now. Actually, sabi ko nga, di ba, 1 hour lang, mga 30 to 40 minutes
Ay,
ang
lumagpas na
target
tayo. Oh
time.
my goodness,
No,
9:30
but
na.
it's okay because I super love what you're telling me right now. And
Diba? Kasi ito pa pala,
yeah,
alam mo dun
madadala ka.
sa
Nadala
inattenda,
ko sa passion mo.
sa inattenda namin at dun sa consortium, kasi nga, we're final year PhD students. Yung pinaka takeaway din, aside from embracing chaos, was everyone in the room, you are not competitors. You
Yeah.
are collaborators. So you'll see a collaborator in one table or another. And yun yung nakita ko okay, in research, you're not competing with people. Of course, pag may na-publish na, may gumagawa ng ginagawa mo, na-publish na, ano tayo magagawa doon? You have to,
Yeah.
but you are collaborating because you're putting skills together, you're putting expertise together, and yun nga, sobrang grabe pa yung room for growth. And
Mm-mm.
I'm looking forward to collaborating with people, learning from them. Ang dami, ang saya lang na dati, hanggang ngayon naman, nakikinig pa ako ng mga stories nila na siguro one day I'll be able to share mine, how it transpired, yun din yung pinagpipray ko palagi eh. Now, in my prayers, if it is not meant for me, please, as early on, i-ano na natin. Because, di ba, hindi, ako ganun eh, na para bang, if it's not meant for me, it's okay.
Mm-mm.
Start ulit. Ilang beses naman
Mm-mm.
ako nag-start ulit. When I moved to Australia, I started from scratch, right? I left my job in LaSalle. I started from scratch. So, kung kailangan, sige. Wala naman choice eh. You have to move forward. But I guess the fact that I'm still here, sinasagot naman yung prayers ko na
Oo.
it's not
Okay.
it's not
Actually,
really not meant
actually,
for you, di ba?
you made the choice to start again. To start
Di
over
ba?
and over
Oo,
again.
pero yung feeling na ano ba, you're meant to the academia life. Di
Mm-mm.
ba? Yun yung conversation natin before eh. But, yan siguro, yun yung answer sa prayers ko na if it's not meant, umalis ka na. Pero, andito pa ako eh. And
Oo. You're
you've been
really
given
meant to be
reasons to
there.
stay. You've been given reasons to stay. And, yun nga, teka, the fact that you're here, you belong. You earned it. Ganun eh, na parang sabi ko nga, baka uh, I'm an odd one out. So, pero hindi pala siya ganun. And, wala, ang saya lang, and it's very liberating na you find these things. 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
Nakakahirap mag-start over, pero, hindi eh. It just, it takes so much courage to do it, but, ilagay mo na isa mong paa para simula tayo. Doon siya di ba? Yung wala
Yeah.
was in AOM talagang, alam mo yon after ng mga talk, naiisip ko na ano na yung, okay, I have to, ano yung big project na gagawin ko, nag-iisip na ako ng network na lalapitan ko pag magko-collect ng data, ano yung mga pwede namin gawin, tapos if I have the big projects, meron akong maliliit, yung mabibilis para it can help me in my job search, in building my career, yung ganon, na-inspire ako na eto siya, may mga maliliit,
Mm-mm.
may mga malalaki, and they will all add up together in crafting my portfolio as a researcher. Parang
Mm-mm.
gano'n. And siguro in-embrace ko din na, don't limit yourself, which is true. May interest tayo, pero sa akin kasi yung interest natututunan mo din yan. Kapag
Mm-mm.
nagiging exposed ka sa isang bagay, you get interested with it. 'Di ba?
Yes.
You might not know it now and it's okay. As you read, as you talk to people, you learn, interesting pala siya for me and all. So
Mm-mm.
nahahanap, 'di ba? Hindi siya overnight na, I like doing this. Pero sa amin ang style is, I've worked on psych contracts. Dito tayo magsimula para hindi naman palaging puro scratch. And for sure, as you work on it, may mga na-build up ka, nahahanap mo, 'di ba? Ano siya, malayo pa, marami pa. It's like, it's a very big space na tinapon ka. So,
Mm-mm.
nandun pa lang ako sa, alam mo yon, napakarami pa, and I'm so looking forward. Nakakatakot siya, to be honest, pero that's how it is. That's how it is, right? Kung
Mm-mm.
matatakot ako, wala namang mangyayari. So, let's embrace whatever's gonna happen. Kasi ito yung unique sa career na to, 'di ba? Yung career path mo ay tough, difficult. Dadating din tayo diyan. So, hopefully, 'di ba?
Yeah. So I suppose I can say that right now I'm meeting Dr. Aeson.
Kasi di alam mo,
Iba,
sobrang like sa
iba.
Australia pa.
You're so different. You're so different
Kasi like mo
from
sa
before.
Australia pa, di ba? Ang culture is they don't call people their titles. So doon din ako
Mm-hmm.
nasanay na people just call me by my name. Parang, okay, you've earned the degree, but it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot more. There's a lot more
Yes.
work to be done. Na
Oo.
parang, ano siya kumbagang to whom much is given, much is required.
Mm-mm.
Nandun pa lang ako
You
sa
know,
binigyan ako.
the title is actually the wisdom that you have gained and the insight
Totoo yan.
that you found in being aware of who you are. Technically, that's what happened. You finally found your path, the meaning of the things that you've been doing.
Well, totoo. Kasi nga, ano parang, doon ako grateful kasi your PhD journey can be, paano ba? Sa lahat naman mahirap, pero pwede kasi
Such
siyang maging
an eye
empty.
opener.
Diba? Pwede kasi siyang
Oh.
maging empty in a sense that, okay, I'm just doing the research, I'm just doing the project, or pag tapos na, that's it. Tapos na.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it wasn't empty because
It was so
I had
rich.
a lot of self-discovery, meeting people, building relationships, learning. Kumbaga, pag tinanong mo ako kung ano nangyari sa last 3 years, parang ang dami kong masasabi.
Mm-mm.
Of course, it's not perfect and it's far from maybe the standard that people live up to. But I'm sure I gained something. Diba? I'm sure I gained something
Yes,
and
of
it's
course.
something
And it's so
worthwhile.
inspirational when you talk about it, when you share about it. Actually, sabi ko, share ko nga ulit to sa ano.
Hindi totoo kasi ano ba?
Actually,
Oftentimes
Hindi,
as a
kasi di
PhD
ba,
student, I've lost motivation.
yes,
Go,
I
go,
am
go.
aware of that. Usually kasi as Soul
Diba?
Talk, I just share this to my online community, right? But this time, okay, I'll share this to some of my classmates who probably needs to
Maiinip
hear
na
this
sila,
as
sabi, ang
well.
dami nating pinag-usapan. Diba? Kasi yun sobrang ang daming days, pag iniisip ko nga, ang daming episodes na talagang you've lost motivation or so tapusin mo na lang.
Mm-mm.
But, pag nahahanap mo kailangan mo lang laging bumalik. It's easier said than done. But, alam mo yun, I'm fortunate to be able to find myself back every time I decide to wander and lose it. Hindi, may nagbabalik sa akin, di ba? Parang
Yes.
kumbaga sa
Mm-mm.
trend, every time na nadidinederail ko to take a new path, may nagbabalik sa akin or nire-redirect ako sa, you still take the same rail pero ibang direction na yung kukunin natin. Not totally umalis ka dun sa rail, 'di ba? Ganon. So, ganon lang ang kailangan natin pero
You know, there's
yun nga
there's a there's a word that pop up in my mind. Doc Arnell said this, these are God incidences. Binabalik na lagi.
Alam mo, totoo yan. Totoo yan. Totoo yan. I believe in that. Even though, syempre sa Australia, people are not too, religious and all.
Yes,
But
of course.
I am. It's a big part of my PhD journey rin. Na talagang, it's a journey of faith more than anything else.
Mm-mm.
Na
Of
talagang,
course, because as you get to know
na-
yourself, you get to meet God as well, di ba?
hindi parang yung feeling na you're creating knowledge, pero sino ba talaga ang source of knowledge? Hindi naman ako. Di ba? I'm not the ultimate source of knowledge. Kumbaga, I'm just an instrument for that knowledge to come out. So, yun, di ba? Minsan parang okay for the experiment to work, for the survey to work. I've been praying every day. Sana pag ni-run ko yung tests, mga ganon na, well, it's so good. Na for me, ano siya, parang a lot of revelations, a lot of, alam mo yun, di ba? Kung saan ka dinadala. Kung hindi pa to journey of faith, ewan ko na lang kung ano pang tawag ko dito. Di ba? Kasi minsan, hindi mo
That's
alam kung
true.
paano mo i-figure out eh. Alam mo, there was a time I decided to redo some interviews. And when I first did the interviews, it took me 3 months. Ang hirap mag-schedule. It's beyond my control. Matatapos na August. Bago tayo mag-usap last year, nung nag-uusap tayo last year, I'm doing some of the interviews. So ko, ang hirap nito. Kumbaga, it's like doing the impossible or doing madidrain yung
Yeah, I
timeline
remember
ko.
that. I remember that.
Madidrain yung timeline ko, diba?
You had to redo. You had to redo
And then I prayed na if it's the right decision and all. And you know what happened? When I emailed yung mga in-interview ko before, they're not busy. Oh, I'm free tomorrow. I'm free on ganito. I'm free on in a span of 3 days, naka-anim ako o 4. Na, alam mo yun, yung parang if this is God working because wala sa control ko yung oras ng tao. Wala sa control wala sa control ko yung availability ng tao. And I was just so amazed as to how, nung inulit ko siya, I was able to do around how many? 17, siguro mga 34 interviews in a span of a month. So imagine every day nag-i-interview ako, parang, wow, everything is falling into place. And then I was able to get someone to help me do the transcription. Talagang, kumbaga nga parang, minsan pag nagpe-pray ako, lagi ko sinasabi, pag hindi pag na-reject yung paper sa conference, okay na ako, that's it. That's the signal na pag natanggap, ilaban mo pa. Natatanggap. Siguro sa akin, God is becoming impatient na rin sa akin, na parang ang daming beses ko na sinabi sa'yo, Aeson, na you're meant naman to do it. Diba? Pero alam mo yun, na parang, I guess it is what is unique for me compared to say my colleagues or my mga friends ko who are doing PhD, na it's a journey of faith and self-discovery, learning, lahat. Parang, this is one of the experiences that I would have regretted if hindi ko ginawa. Of course, when people ask me, would you do a PhD, would you do it all over again? I would honestly tell them no, because nakakapagod. But if you frame the question differently, is this something that you regret doing? Definitely not. Diba? Baka wala na lang siguro akong energy ulitin ulit. Kasi ang daming nangyari. Pero this is definitely a highlight in my life. Na kung hindi ako pumunta sa Australia, hindi ako nag-PhD, this would be a very big what if. That I don't know how it's gonna happen, and talagang pagsisisihan ko siguro.
Yes. Pero I am really grateful that you have, taken this time. I know you're on vacation. And
Yes,
then
it's okay.
you're talking
Pahinga
about
today.
this. Yeah.
Pahinga today because it's been tiring, and yeah. So I'm very happy naman to share my experiences because ano siya eh, sa atin, 'di ba? If you're doing research, we are a community. Wala namang magtutulungan kung hindi tayo rin, because admit it or not, people who are not doing the work that we do, it's hard for them to understand. And
Yes.
sometimes giving them context is also tiring. Doon pa lang
Mm-mm.
sa pagbibigay ko ng context, paulit-ulit nakakapagod na. So you need to, it's a pleasure to meet someone who knows and someone who who understands exactly what you're going through. And yun lang yung feeling lang na yun, ang sarap na. Na alam ko na may nakakaintindi sa akin. Hindi ko naman kinakailangan na as PhD students, we do not need someone who'll baby us or who'll, alam mo yun, who'll attend to whatever we need to make us feel comfortable. The fact that you know that you're not alone, that people are on the same boat as you are, it
Mm-hmm.
gives you a motivation na hindi pala ako lang. If
Mm-mm.
people are experiencing it, my experiences are valid. My experiences
Yes.
are normal. Those affirmations are more than enough to at least get you motivated or para mabawasan yung sense of chaos na nararamdaman mo. At least, pare-pareho naman kami. So, 'di ba?
Mm-mm.
That helps.
Mm. Ako, I personally appreciate everything that you have shared. And as I've said, I have been privileged to actually see parts of your journey, beginning, middle, and that's
Start
actually the
ulit
beginning. Yeah.
of another. Yeah. That's
Mm-mm.
so
But
true. That's so
oo,
true.
I find so much inspiration in what you have shared. And of course, I'll continue to pray for you for your journey that,
Yes,
you'd
malayo pa eh, 'di ba?
explore pa.
Totoo yan,
It's
'di ba?
it's an it's an adventure.
As I told you, malayo pa, pero malayo na rin naman yung narating ko. So,
Yes.
kumbaga, celebrate the small
The
victories, the
small
small milestones.
milestones.
So, that's
Yeah.
it, diba? Kung hindi mo yan titingnan, kung hindi ka magiging grateful sa kung anong meron ka, wala
Mm-mm.
talaga, diba? If you'll always just look at what you want to have. Palagi ko sinasabi sa sarili ko, these are the things that I once prayed for. So,
Mm-mm.
I'm living on my prayers. And minsan kasi, human nature to desire for more na, 'di
Mm-mm.
ba? Since nakuha ko na 'to, tumataas yung aking aspirations, yung expectations ko, yung wanting hindi tumitigil. Pero minsan sabi ko nga, the reason why I was happy before was I learned how to be contented. And ganun din ngayon, na pag nagganyan, pag nasistress ako about job search, iniisip ko na before I was just praying to do tutorials. Now I have tutorials to teach. Which
Mm-mm.
means God has answered my prayers and I'm living in one of them, in most of them. So it means na kung in-answer niya before, He'll answer it again. I just have to learn how to wait. 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
Kasi hindi naman yung gano'n na,
Oo.
and
Wait,
pag gano'n,
wait na while
na
doing
ako.
the work.
'Di ba? So ano na ako na, okay, balik tayo ulit
Mm-mm.
sa process. Hindi siya madali, pero again, 'di ba? You've prayed for this before and you have it now. It means yung mga ina-aspire mo din, you will have them soon.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you don't know how soon is that soon, but you don't stop. I guess
Mm-hmm.
yun din, as a PhD student, you don't stop. Because the
Mm-hmm.
moment you stop, that's it. Diba? You can
Yes.
always, it's tiring, it's frustrating, you can rest, but you don't quit. Diba? Distance yourself from the work if it's so frustrating. But after getting your energy and all, bumalik ka. Kasi wala
Mm-mm.
din namang magbabalik sa'yo kung hindi yung sarili mo. And minsan, that's one of the hardest things. I have to drag myself to sit in the table again and open the paper, rewrite, redo, restart. Pero, ganun siya eh. It takes
Mm-mm.
courage to do it, but you have to learn how to let go. Even if I spent a year writing this, hindi maganda eh. Ayusin
Mm-hmm.
natin. Diba?
Mm-mm.
You have to see the growth, the development of the paper, the work. That's part of the process. Kaya isa din yun sa natutunan ko. You have to learn, hirap ako mag-let go as a person in general. But because of this, hindi pa pwede na I always live on past glories or I always live on my failures. 'Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone forgets it. Ako lang yung hindi nakakalimot. 'Di ba? Ako pa yung hindi ako nakakalimot. Hindi ako nakakalimot, affected ako. 'Di
Mm-mm.
ba? It's madaling ano eh, pero yeah, kailangan mo kalimutan. Kung na-reject tayo, let's try another one. Hindi mo nakuha, you will cry, you will be disappointed. It's okay. Pero bukas, after 2 days, bangon na tayo kasi there's life happening.
Mm-mm.
Yun yung harsh
Yes.
reality ng doing a PhD. 'Di ba? Alam mo kung ano yung ideal? You just do the research and life stops while we're doing it. 'Di ba? You focus everything on it, but it's not the case. Life unfolds into your very eyes while you're doing the work, while you're doing the research, and you have
Mhm.
to manage all of these things.
Mm.
'Di ba? Hindi po pwede. You cannot choose. Hindi titigil ang mundo because I'm so into my research. Life events will happen, and you have to learn how to deal with both of these things.
Ay, sige, i-share ko na lang sa'yo, pero off air.
Oh,
But,
off the record mo
pero
muna.
pero thank you so much for sharing everything. And I know to my
It's my
community
pleasure to
members,
share.
of course, to the favored ones, I know this month's episodes are kinda kakaiba kasi I'm sharing a part of the PhD life, the DBA life ng student,
Parang
and
yung life ko ata lahat nandun. Yung shinexer
oo,
lahat.
oo,
I-split mo na lang. O, ito yung mga para
I
sa araw.
I know a lot of it can be unrelatable, but it's still life. It's still part of life, and it's a little bit of my life as well that I am sharing through the stories of the guests for this month. So I hope that you have also seen value and be blessed by this conversation. So thank you so much, whether you're team live or team replay. Um, God bless. And thank you, Aeson. Thank you so much for this time.
Of course. It's always my pleasure to share and to talk to people. It's always a good experience.
Okay, so God bless everyone.